morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the Southland Conference Football Coaches Weekly Teleconference. I'm Todd, Assistant Commissioner for Communications at the Southland Conference. I will be today's moderator on the call. Want to go over a few guidelines for the call. We do restrict this call to official news gathering media members only. The general public, including fans and fan websites, are prohibited from participating during the live call. We ask that you do not place the call on hold or use the speakerphone function at any time while on the call, and we ask that you mute your line unless asking a question. Be sure to mute your line immediately after asking your question, and you may unmute your line by pressing *6 at any time to ask a question. But we do ask that you mute your own phone line here at the start of the call. Media, prior to asking a question, you should identify yourself by name and media organization, and any violation of these guidelines may lead to immediate disconnection from the call. We are recording this call for playback later. We are also streaming the call live at southland.org and on the Southland Digital Network, which is available on iPhones and Android devices. Last week, go over the results for the conference. Southeastern Louisiana lost to TCU 38-17. Louisiana Tech beat Lamar 27-14. Nicholls State won on the road at Western Michigan 27-23. That was the league's 20th win against the FBS since 2000. Northwestern State beat Southern 55-14. Sam Houston State lost to Texas A&M 65-28. Stephen F. Austin lost to Texas Tech 61-13. Central Arkansas lost 38-24 at Colorado, and McNeese State beat Arkansas Pine Bluff 58-14. This week, another full slate of Southland Conference games. Texas Southern is at Sam Houston State at 2 p.m. Saturday on Comcast Sportsnet Houston. Northwestern State is at Cincinnati on ESPN3 at 6. Nicholls visits Louisiana Lafayette on ESPN3 at 6. Southeastern Louisiana is at South Dakota State at 6. McMurray is at Stephen F. Austin at 6. Central Arkansas is at Tennessee Martin at 6. Also, Lamar visits Oklahoma State on Fox Sports Net at 6:30 p.m. and West Alabama is at McNeese State. That game is at 7. Players of the week this last week, Timothy Flanders from Sam Houston State was the offensive player of the week. He ran for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns on 19 carries and added a 30-yard touchdown reception against Texas A&M. He tied the conference record for career touchdowns with 59 and moved into second place on the conference's career rushing list. Defensive player of the week, T.J. Lamar from Nicholls. He finished with 9 tackles and had a crucial interception in the Colonel's win over Western Michigan. And then special teams player of the week, Deontay Spencer from McNeese. He set a school single game record for in averaging 40.5 yards on 4 kick returns in the Cowboys' win over Arkansas Pine Bluff. All right. So we'll go ahead now and move on to the coaches portion of the call. Media, again, we do ask you to identify yourself by name and affiliation prior to asking a question. Coach Conque, are you with us?
Yes, I am, Todd.
All right, joined now by Central Arkansas head coach Clint Conque. Last week, the Bears lost at Colorado 38-24. And this week, travel over to Tennessee to take on UT Martin Saturday at 6 p.m. Coach, talk a little bit about the game last week, having a fourth quarter lead and what happened there, and then also give us a preview of what you're expecting from the style.
Thanks for reminding me. Certainly, very, very, very pleased, very inspired how hard our football team played in Colorado on Saturday. Certainly got off to a kind of an auspicious start, fell behind 14-0, but our kids clawed back, scored 2 touchdowns, I believe, in the second quarter to tie it up. Took the early lead in the third quarter by a field goal, and then kind of went back and forth with Colorado, ultimately taking a touchdown lead with about 10 minutes to go. And unfortunately, threw a second interception that was returned for a touchdown, and had an opportunity late in the game to make it pretty interesting, and threw another interception in the end zone. So very disappointed. Players were disappointed. Certainly the effort was exemplary, but the execution, particularly down the stretch, was not what it needed to be to knock off a Pac-12 school or to beat any, solid football team, quite frankly. With that said, we're moving forward. Fundamentally, we have some things to clean up. We've got the University of Tennessee Martin on the road again. It's the second of 3 consecutive road games here in September. UT Martin started the season with a big win against preseason top 25 UT Chattanooga on the road, and then they ran into a pretty angry Boise State team last week up in Boise, Idaho. This is their home opener, and I'm sure Coach Simpson will have his troops ready, and a very athletic team, a little unorthodox on defense. They run the ball very well. They play a couple of quarterbacks, outstanding. Wide receiver skilled kids, a lot of speed on the field. It'll take a tremendous effort on our coaching staff's part as well as our players' part this week. So got to regroup in a hurry, move forward to go play on Ohio Valley Conference School.
All right, we'll open it up for questions now for Coach Clint Conque. Media, you may need to press *6 to unmute the phone line. Coach, talk about, I know Winrick Smothers had 3 interceptions. That was the first time that has happened in his career. He's a senior, all-conference quarterback. Just what was it that
he went to the right. Winrick, he only had 1 missed assignment the entire night. We played 80-some-odd snaps. Was going to the right places on all 3 of the throws. One was a deflected pass. One was a less than satisfactory route by a receiver, and the third one he probably underthrew a little bit, or might have went off the fingertips of our receiver. But every time that we've asked Winrick to respond to adversity since he's been in our program, he's done that, and I have great faith and confidence that he will do that. It wasn't like he just reared up and threw it to the other team. But we need to put a significant continued emphasis on the value of the football. You can't win football games by turning it over at any level. And we put basically with 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns and a fumble inside of our own 30. We pretty much gave Colorado 21 points, and obviously that was more than the difference in the game.
Questions for Coach Conque?
Hi, Coach. This is Craig Haley from the Sports Network. How are you?
Hey, Craig. Fine, thank you.
That's good. This year, the NCAA has a system in place where it's almost like an RPI type of system for playoff selection. It rewards teams for tough games, like, for instance, your game, this week on the road at UT Martin. Even Division II games are factored in now. I mean, can you talk about a system in place like that, an RPI type of system for measuring the playoffs?
It's been long overdue, Craig, in my opinion, and I think you'd find that as a consensus, with our coaches. We discussed this in our meetings back in the spring. In the South, we have a very difficult time versus the Northeast in scheduling. You see a lot of our schools having to go to the Big Sky coming, down to the Southland Conference. We don't have the opportunity to to play teams out of the Pioneer League, which counts as Division I wins. They're non-scholarship because you got a whole hassle of schools in the North, Midwest, and Northeast. And so from a scheduling perspective, predominantly Division II schools and some very quality Division II schools in both the Lone Star Conference and the Gulf South Conference. And so we're almost forced to have to play one a year. And, obviously we're all going to probably play at least one FBS school every year. So to be able to get, I don't know a better word, but credit for difficult scheduling, having to play a quality Division II school, and then of course the FBS. I think that that balances out a little bit the fact that we can't get a game with Valparaiso or Butler or St. Francis or Drake or people like that. Some of the schools in the Midwest that are at the FCS level or the Northeast have that opportunity. And I think also too, because they have this rating system in place, it creates a more objective opinion instead of backroom lawyering that potentially could go on in at-large selection opportunities. And I'm not suggesting that goes on. What I am saying, though, is that it does create a more objective, black and white tool for the committee to use versus more subjective material.
Sure. Thank you, Coach.
You bet.
Other questions for Coach Conque? All right, Coach, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Coach Stubbs, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
All right, joined now by Charlie Stubbs, the head coach at Nicholls State. The Colonels coming off a huge win at Western Michigan, 27-23 last week. And this week continued with the FBS road swing, visiting Louisiana Lafayette Saturday at 6 p.m. That game is available on ESPN3. Coach, talk about that huge win for your program and what you're expecting from the Raging Cajuns Saturday.
Well, we thought that we had, against Oregon, thought that we had a few things to build on after that game, even though the score was severely lopsided. So the guys didn't go into the game. They went into the game against Western Michigan optimistic, but knew we needed to play better, knew we needed to play more consistent. We got a very fast start in the game, driving the ball down the field, scoring a touchdown, and we had some good momentum. We were moving the ball offensively well, and then defensively was having some stops, and so we we're progressing very well. Unfortunately, about near the end of the first half, our quarterback, Kalen Henderson, suffered a broken fibula at that time, and I had already had Bo Hebert, who started the Oregon game, out with a concussion, so had to make some adjustments. And Toscani Figueroa came in at quarterback, and I was hoping to redshirt him, but he did a very good job the second half. And again, I guess the biggest thing about the game is that there was some adversity, and also Western Michigan came back and got the lead, but then we took it right back. So those are things that I haven't seen consistently here at Nicholls, and they're a very good football team. They had played Michigan State very close game the week before, so we knew we had a challenge. But I commend our young men. We again, to win games, you got to make some plays, and we made them, and we made a great defensive stop at the end. Securing an interception right there near the final seconds of the game. So, everybody's excited. The kids just to see a smile on their face, because it's been a challenge here. But now we're excited. Again, we've got to have a great week of practice, and we've been practicing pretty well. And so if we can do that again, then we'll have a good chance, against Louisiana Lafayette. I mean, they got a very good team. They're, of course, been in bowl games the last 2 years, and I know that they played a very challenging schedule starting off the 2013 season, so you can't look at just that. But I know that we're going into a hostile environment, which is like we've had the last 2 weeks, because we've been the home opener for Oregon and Western Michigan, and now we'll be the home opener for Louisiana Lafayette. So we got to play very well.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions now for Charlie Stubbs, the head coach at Nicholls State. Media, we just ask that you identify yourself by name and affiliation prior to asking a question.
Good morning, Coach Stubbs. This is John Lenz in Hammond.
Yes, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I just, the league has, always talked about the strength of this league up and down, and, it's been a couple of rocky years for y'all. It must be kind of nice just to be able to join the conversation of, hey, we can hang.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I've always watched the other teams in the Southland Conference knock some of these FBS schools off, so I'm glad we've been able to contribute some. But I always tell the people, my friends in the coaching profession, that the Southland Conference is challenging enough, and then at Nicholls, with us loading up with 3 non-conference, FBS teams, that's even more challenging. But the Southland Conference plays very good football, and, I know that, just got to make a few plays at the end, and we'll even knock some more off. So, again, credit to our conference.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Hey, Coach, it's Teddy from the Common Thibodeau. How you doing today, buddy?
Doing fine, Teddy.
Coach, you mentioned it. This is going to be your third, consecutive road trip and your third home opener for Louisiana Lafayette, third home opener for your opponent. But, talking with Marcus Washington after, you've done this every year. It's something that's almost routine for y'all to go on the road and play these home openers for other people. And the comfort level you had at Waldo Stadium Saturday spoke about that a little bit. So while, you're going back on the road, it's you almost have reached, because of the experience on your team and going through this you almost reach a certain comfort level in these road games. And again, it showed with the way y'all played against Western Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of accept it. We like it. We know we have to go on the road to play these big schools. So, I feel like we've learned a whole lot about our team, and we bonded well together because, again, as you know, we go to those games and play, and we have a good following considering parents and just some loyal supporters, but we are very few and far between there at the games. So, again, what I tell them is we got to have our enthusiasm from within, here. And so that our sidelines have been really locked into the game. The teammates have been very supportive of each other and picking guys up when the play may get away from them. So there's a lot of neat things going on and a lot of team bonding. And that's the biggest thing I try to teach here at Nicholls is for us to be successful. It's our motto, which is Band of Brothers. I mean, for us to be successful, we all got to be pulling the same direction, and we got to contribute. And everybody has worth on the team. So, again, we're making some progress. What I want to see is us sustain it. I want us to play consistently good. I'd love to have our chances. We just got to get to the fourth quarter against these guys and just be in a position to win the football game.
And, Coach, just to follow up, I mean, it's nice getting some national attention positively now this week. I think Tim Brando gave Toscani, one of his awards on his radio show. TJ is getting some recognition. Y'all getting some recognition now. I guess it's finally nice to see that on the positive side, and it's great what one win can do for y'all.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's a challenge, and again, we've had our definitely more downs than ups, but I feel like we're heading in a good direction. The biggest thing that I always worry about after every game is just where the injuries are, because we could have won a lot of games, I feel like, the past few years, but we're no different than anybody else. But I think at this level, everybody has injuries, but it seems like especially like right now, I'm into my fourth quarterback right now. I mean, with Landry Klon being out for the year, and he started for us mainly last year, and then Bo had a concussion, and then Kalen breaks his leg, and then Toscani's in now, and Bo may be back this week. So, it's always a challenge, but that's part of coaching. So you just accept the challenge, and other people have to step up and shoulder a little bit more responsibility.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Charlie Stubbs at Nicholls? All right, Coach. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach Roberts, are you with us? Coach Roberts, are you on the call? You may need to press *6 to unmute your phone. All right, let me see if I can track him down. Hold on, please. Ron, is that you?
Hello, this is Ron Roberts.
All right, Ron, thanks for joining us. We're joined now by Ron Roberts, the head coach at Southeastern Louisiana. Last week, the Lions lost to TCU 38-17, and this week go up to South Dakota State, which is ranked number 6 in the FCS. Coach, talk a little bit about that game last week, if you would, and give us a preview of what you're expecting from South Dakota State.
I thought, I thought at the beginning of the game we handled their initial, attack early. We made some mistakes in the first quarter and ended up playing full first quarter on our half of 50. Really lost especially the battle of field position majority of the game. But I was real pleased with how our guys fought and played hard. I thought we played physical football, going at the half 17-14, thought we had our chances to win it, and then it came out in the third quarter and committed several mistakes that really, cost us the ball game. But hopefully it's a learning experience, and we'll learn from the mistakes we made, and we just got to get better every week. And obviously we've got a huge challenge in front of us this week. South Dakota, I think, number 6 in the country, and going up there to their place, and they're a physical football team with a great tailback, and a lot of seniors, a very experienced ball club, a lot of returners are back, and they're very good, very well coached across the board. And again, it's going to be a huge challenge for us. We need to go in there, and we're going to have to play very well to be on the field with them.
We'll go ahead and open it up for questions now for Ron Roberts, the head coach at Southeastern Louisiana.
Hey, Coach. This is Terry Vanderbeck from the newspaper up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. How are you?
I'm doing. How are you?
Good. I'm good. A couple questions for you. You guys saw South Dakota State very early last year when you were playing your second game with the Lions, but you guys ended the season well. Done some nice things early in this year. What's kind of taking hold in year 2 that you hope to implement, within the program?
Well, I think we're a different ball club. I think when we grew up quite a bit, but again, we still committed some mistakes here in game 1 and game 2. A lot of mistakes that would cost us dearly versus South Dakota State. They're a very well coached ball team. They're very experienced, and they don't make mistakes. And we're going to have to play a lot better than we have in the last 2 weeks in order to play with them.
And your new quarterback this year, Brian Bennett, how did he end up with you guys, and what does he do especially well?
Well, again, he was looking for an opportunity to be the guy and to get more experience in quarterback position. Fortunate to get him. He's still a quarterback. He's got a great arm. He can run exceptionally well, and he's a mentally tough kid, and I think he brings that to our football team, that leadership of being a physically and a mentally tough guy, and he's getting better every week, and I think he's going to get better throughout the season.
The last thing you saw Zach Denner, obviously last year he put a bunch of yards down there. You've had more time to study him and look at him now. Is he the same running back you think that you guys played last year, or based on the film you've seen from the last calendar year, has things changed for him?
He's a great running back. I mean, I don't know, he's probably going to have a chance to play on Sundays, and he's physical, he's powerful, he's got the breakaway speed, he's a whole thing. He's a tough kid. He can block. He's a every down back. We have a tremendous amount of respect for him on what he did in here. But then you turn on the film from this year, and he looks like he's gotten a little bigger, a little stronger, a little faster. So we know we've got our hands full with him, and you're not going to stop him, but we got to limit him and hopefully make sure he doesn't break away and break some long ones and put some quick points on the board for him. Thanks, guys. Okay.
Other questions for Ron Roberts today? All right, Coach. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Coach Thomas, are you with us?
Hey, this is Doug. Jay is on the phone with the ESPN3 guys. I'm going to get him off and get him on this call right now. Just hold with me for a second.
You never want to get injured. And, hey, he's a Louisiana guy. We all stick together. We pull for the Louisiana guys to do well wherever they are.
He'll be with you in just a second.
Sorry, callers. This usually does not happen. We'll work through these issues for next week and make sure that we have on time.
This was supposed to be a 20-minute teleconference. It started at 10:30, and it's obviously stretched over. I apologize, but it was unforeseen.
Hello. Hello.
Jay, this Jay?
Yes.
All right. Joined now by Jay Thomas, the head coach at Northwestern State. Last week, the Demons beat Southern 55-14, and this week travel up to Cincinnati to take on the Bearcats at 6 p.m. on ESPN3. Coach, talk a little bit about your win last week and what you're expecting from the Bearcats.
Well, certainly we were very happy to get the win, and felt like that our team made a big step from week 1 to week 2, and obviously that's what you want to see happen. And all 3 phases we got better, but we still have a million miles to go. Continue to get better in our philosophies in all 3 areas. But our guys really rose to the occasion. We played very well, but still we got a ton of things we need to work on going into this week. Going into the game with Cincinnati. Coach Tuberville, everywhere he's been successful. Started out fast this year. Had a little bump in the road with Illinois this past weekend, but very talented team across the board. Like you would think, very fundamentally sound every phase. So the skill set in offense, receivers, running backs, and the offensive line is really tremendous. Do a great job. It's going to be a big challenge for our defense, and then facing them on their defense. They roll 7, 8 defensive ends. They also rush the quarterback. They're very good on the interior with big guys inside. Got linebackers that are very active and very, very fast in the secondary. So, across the board, it's going to be a big challenge for our guys to go there and play well. We just want to continue to make progress and make steps along the way as we prepare for conference play.
We'll go ahead and open it up for questions now for Jay Thomas, the head coach of Northwestern State.
Hey, Coach. This is Matt Viator from the Shreveport Times. Talk a little bit about the Cincinnati quarterback, Munchie Legault. Seems like a dual-threat guy. I'm assuming the skill positions are more skilled at Cincinnati than Southern, but is your defense making the same reads? They run a similar offense to Southern?
Yeah, everything's very similar and similar to a lot of things that we see day in, day out with, with our offense as well. They're up tempo type deal and being able to change the tempo from slow to medium to, intermediate type stuff. But, Muncie, unfortunate. We never want to see a kid get injured. And he was really, really playing well for them. He is the dual threat. He was able to pull it down. He can make plays, with his legs running and keeping plays alive. We all, as in recruiting, I recruited New Orleans for a long time, and being able to saw him when he was a young guy coming out of car down in New Orleans. You knew he had a lot of talent, and you could see it watching him, on tape. His progression was really good. He was throwing the ball really, really well. We always pull for Louisiana guys wherever they go, and play at different places. But they still, they have talented guys there. They got no talented quarterback behind that. Actually was rotating. Kay was rotating in with him, and has played a ton for him. And he's very capable of running the offense, and another guy that can still create with his feet and is very accurate in how he throws the football. So it's going to be a huge challenge for us across the board. The offensive line is very talented, very mobile, and they got a lot of length and size up front.
Coach, Brett McCormick from the Town Talk in Alexandria. When they're playing two QBs, I know coaches sometimes talk about how difficult of a challenge it is to prepare for that. With Muncie going down, does it, in a way, make the preparation, I guess, a little easier because you just have to worry about the one quarterback?
Well, I think that, when you're preparing, you got most all offenses these days, they have a number of weapons they can go to. You just can't focus on one guy. And we don't feel like they'll change from their offense because they still run the same plays. It didn't really change the play set, the play calling from one quarterback to the other. So, they got a little running back there. Man, he's phenomenal. The guy's all over the place. He makes great runs. The receivers are really fast, talented, run great routes, catch the ball really good, and make a lot of extra yards after the catch. So there's more than one guy we got to defend. There's a lot of guys touching the ball, 10, 12 guys touching the ball in the course of the ball game. So it's not going to really change how we're going to face them. And, we know we still got to prepare for the same offense, if we had both quarterbacks to defend.
I'll ask another one real quick. Can you describe the progress that was made offensively? It seemed like there was a huge leap from the Missouri State game to the Southern game.
Yes, and that's something that we discussed with the team coming from the first game. And that's usually where it happens. From the first game to the second game is usually your biggest step in improving. And we made great strides in our offense. We still have a million miles to go, obviously. But it was very nice to see our offense move the football. We created, some nice big long runs, some nice big plays in our passing game. Thought our quarterback really improved from the first game to the second game. Now, we need to continue to move forward with that. And, this next week, we need to still make a step forward and still working through our non-conference games, working towards conference play. But certainly it was an improvement across the board. Our offensive line began to pick up the blitzes much better. Our run blocking was much better. We stayed locked on to defenders longer than we did the first game. Missouri State was very good on defense and did a nice job. And Southern was very talented on defense. They had a veteran secondary. Thought our guys really competed well, and particularly our receivers did a nice job blocking from one another once we caught the ball on the perimeter. but we still got to get better in every phase.
Other questions for Coach Thomas? All right, Coach, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Coach Viator, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here, Todd.
All right, joined now by McNeese State head coach Matt Viator. Last week, the Cowboys beat Arkansas Pine Bluff 58-14, and this week continue at home against West Alabama. That game is Saturday at 7 p.m. Coach, talk about your win last week and what you're expecting from your opponent this week.
It's a really good win for us, to beat a conference champion from the year before. To win our first home game was important, and it was 14-14 at the end of the first quarter, so it's very competitive. We're fortunate to get a couple turnovers, get a couple breaks there, and kind of turn the tide, so to speak, in our way. And so, we obviously have a lot of improving to do, but all in all, a good game for us, and we have to move forward to West Alabama, who has a very talented football team, very fast football team, and another program that's obviously had a lot of success. One of the better Division II programs in the nation. They got beat by Valdosta State in the semifinals last year, and actually had beaten Valdosta State earlier that year and won the Gulf States Conference. So, they've only played one game, so we really only have one game to go off of, and then last year's stuff. But really good players and a lot of speed, which concerns us. So happy to play at home, and certainly going to be a tough challenge for us.
All right, we'll open it up for questions now for Matt Viator, the head coach at McNeese State. I do want to remind media, please mute your phone lines by pressing *6 when not asking a question, and then use the same *6 command to unmute your lines and ask a question. Thank you.
Hey, Coach, it's Teddy from the Common in Thibodeau. How you doing this morning?
How are you doing, Teddy?
Fine, but
congratulations to the Colonels.
Hey, much welcome needed, and very
big time win. Happy for Coach Stubbs for the whole program, and I was looking at it yesterday. I mean, to fly to Oregon, fly back, fly to Michigan, and beat Western Michigan. That's what an accomplishment that is. So congratulations.
Yeah, Coach. We'll talk about your offense. It's back-to-back 50 points efforts against your two opening opponents. Obviously, you got to be pleased with what you're seeing offensively.
So far, I'm pleased that we have a little balance. I think that's the big thing. We haven't turned it over, which is also another really big thing. But it's just kind of the way the games have folded out, I guess, so to speak. We've gotten some turnovers and gotten great field position at times, and but no, I mean, so far, I think I'm more happy that we have a little bit of balance and we haven't turned it over, which I think is always important.
Yeah, and obviously Cody's playing pretty well for you to start this season.
He is. I think he's continued. We hope that to improve from last year, and I think he's got better in the spring and had a really good camp, and is really, I think, really comfortable with what we're trying to do, and that's always important for a quarterback.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you, Teddy.
Morning, Coach Viator. This is John Lenz in Hammond.
Hey, John. How are you, sir?
Good. You alluded to it. You kind of pay attention to what the other teams in the league are doing. The other coaches all do, I'm sure. But that Nicholls win kind of cements what you've been saying all year a little bit, I think, doesn't it, about the quality of the league this year?
I don't think there's any question, John. I mean, what an impressive win that is. I mean, like I said, to go to Western Michigan and beat a team like that, and just all across the league. I mean, I sat here and watched I don't know, I guess maybe the first quarter in the series. Was a Southeastern TCU game, and I mean that was impressive in itself there too. I mean, I thought Southeastern looked fantastic, and like I said, I didn't get to see the rest of the game because we started doing some other things, but I don't know. So far, so good for our league.
From an overall standpoint, do you have a year that you kind of consider the gold standard for this league? I mean, and where this year might fit with it? I mean, obviously it's got to be right there, but I mean, is there a year that you point to that the league was particularly strong?
No, not really. I mean, I really can't think of anything. I haven't really thought of that. I mean, I remember some years there that with
when McCown was at Sam, and you go back and look at those years. I mean, there's a stretch there we had just unbelievable quarterbacks, I thought, in our league, and but certainly so far the first 2 weeks. I mean, I think you and I talked about that at LaBerge, but I thought that when you looked at the players that were coming back at the key positions and what I thought people had, I mean, I thought this had the makings of a really good year too. So far, it looks like we were right with what you and I were talking about.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, John.
Anything else for Coach Viator at McNeese? All right, Coach, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Coach Woodard, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
All right, joined now by Ray Woodard, the head coach at Lamar. Last week, the Cardinals lost at Louisiana Tech 27-14, and this week pay a visit to Oklahoma State. That game is Saturday at 6:30 p.m. on FSN. Coach, talk a little bit about the game last week and what you're expecting from the Cowboys up in Stillwater.
Well, I think the Louisiana Tech game, I don't think I've ever walked off a field with so many different mixed emotions about a ball game. Very disappointed. We had an opportunity to win the game. Didn't play well enough the last 6 minutes of the game to get it done. But at the same time, I was very proud of our effort and very encouraged if we can keep improving. We got an opportunity to be a good football team. We went into the game thinking that we could do some things, hoping that we could create some turnovers for our team. A big key in the game was we only had two, but both of our turnovers were very big. One ended up in the end zone where I think we had points on the board with a field goal, and the other ended a drive in the fourth quarter where we could have went ahead. On the flip side of that, Louisiana Tech had turned the ball over 4 times the first week. They did not have a turnover Saturday night, and our defense has been very opportunistic and has given us the ball in great field position in the past. We didn't do that. We did only have 2 penalties in the ball game, so we're getting closer to playing error-free, and we're doing a lot of things right. We didn't get over the hump, but I'm very encouraged at our progress, but we understand that we got to continue to improve, and we certainly don't have time this week to sit around and feel sorry for ourselves because we're going to go on the road and play Oklahoma State on television, and it's been said that this is going to be the largest crowd they've had in their history at Burns-Pickens Stadium. So we know what we're up against this week. So we don't have time to sit around and feel sorry for ourselves. We got to go back to work.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions now for Ray Woodard, the head coach at Lamar. Media, you may need to press *6 to unmute your phone line, and be sure to identify yourself by name and media organization. Coach, you had a lot of positives, as you said last week against Louisiana Tech. How do you get those to carry forward, build a little momentum heading into Oklahoma State?
Well, we didn't win the game, but we did a lot more things right than we did wrong. We got to look at and reinforce what we did right. We have some corrections we got to make. We are making progress. This is a very coachable bunch. They've done a great job of taking our coaching to the field, and they work hard. And we got an experienced team, and I'm looking forward to how this season unfolds. We keep improving the way we've had. It's been by far the best camp we had, and I was very proud of our effort over there. And we got an opportunity right now. That's all it is an opportunity. And Coach Viator hit on it. This league coming up is going to be each week. It's going to be tough. I think every team in our league has improved, and we know where we got to be in 3 weeks if we want to have an opportunity to start competing in this league. So these games are about improvement, and we're going to play a very good football team this week. We understand that. This is an opportunity for us to get better, and that's what we're going to do.
Questions for Ray Woodard at Lamar.
Hey, Coach Woodard. I'm Sicky in Lake Charles.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I want to ask you, with obviously you're playing a talented team this week, and they also appear to be a program kind of circling the wagons to the Sports Illustrated story coming out this week. I guess, how much does that add to your concern, knowing that this is probably going to be a highly motivated bunch in addition to the talent they bring?
Well, I don't think that'll have a bearing on the players that are playing the game now. And they played 2 road games. This is their first home game, so they're going to be jazzed. And I'm more concerned about that, the crowd noise and the atmosphere, than anything else. I don't think it'll affect their team at all. Like you said, if it does anything, it'll give them a little motivation. So I can't concern myself with that. We got enough to worry about this week, to be honest with you.
All right, thanks.
All right.
Other questions for Coach Woodard?
Coach, this is Russ Allen from the Cowboy Network.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just give me a kind of a thumbnail. And I know you've got some Division I transfers in your program, but kind of give me a thumbnail on your offense and your defense. And after the Panhandle game and the Louisiana Tech game, your thoughts on some of your team leaders on each side.
I think offensively, one of the reasons that we're being more productive than we have been, Caleb Berry's really progressing well at quarterback. He's doing a good job of running our offense. Our offensive line is older now. They're making fewer mistakes than we've made in the past. And we really upgraded at the receiver position. We have about 6 players now that we can roll in and out. So we got some experience and we got some depth on offense that we haven't had before. Defensively, Bill Bradley's done a great job installing the 3-4 last year, and a lot of carryover. The entire coaching staff's back, a lot of players back, so we got a lot of transition. We don't have to make a lot of transition this year. We got a lot of continuity of people coming back, and they've done a good job the first 2 weeks of the season. And so, both sides are improving, but we understand what we're up against this week, and we know how tough it's going to be.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Anything else for Coach Woodard? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach Fritz, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
All right. Joined now by Willie Fritz, the head coach at Sam Houston State. Last week, the Bearcats lost at Texas A&M 65-28. And this week, return home to take on Texas Southern. That game is Saturday at 2 p.m. on CSN Houston. Coach, talk a little bit about your game last week in College Station, and then what you're expecting this week from Texas Southern.
Tough ball game last week. Playing one of the better teams in the nation. They certainly showed it to us on Saturday night. We're in the ball game for a little while, beginning the second half. Had it at 30-21, and but with an explosive offense like Texas A&M has, you got to match them scoring, or you got to get some stops. And there's a big difference between week 1 and week 2. I thought our kids battled, didn't tackle as well as we needed to, and gave up some easy plays that we need to do a better job of shoring that up. Had a couple untimely turnovers as well offensively. Some bright spots for us. Tim Flanders had a great game, had 170 yards rushing, also caught a 33-yard touchdown pass, and I thought did a great job of showing the ability to run inside tackles and also outside on the perimeter, and one of his better ball games, obviously against a quality opponent. Texas Southern, they've got some new guys that are really impressive. We've got some great speed on the back end, both offensively and defensively. 2 really good tailbacks who've got tremendous speed. We've got to do a much better job of playing leverage this week. Keep them in between the tackles, not allow them to bounce outside of it like they like to do, and then their quarterback will tuck it and run it. And if things break down a little bit back there in the passing game, and he's very dangerous when that occurs. So, we're looking forward to coming back home and playing the Tigers here on Saturday at 2 o'clock.
We'll go ahead and open it up for questions now for Willie Fritz, the head coach at Sam Houston State.
Coach Fritz, Larry Hale, KTSU Radio in Houston.
Yes, sir.
Coach Fritz, when you talk about your quarterback, Brian Bell, do you feel like his confidence was shaking at all after that A&M loss?
No, I don't think so. He's played a lot of football for us. He's, started 4 years now for us. He's had some great games and big games, situations. So he'll bounce back just like the rest of us.
Coach, on the defensive side of the football for Texas Southern, what are some of the things that you've seen on tape that might concern you at all?
I'm sorry, you're talking about Texas Southern on defense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I think they're very athletic. Got a big front. It's a little different than what they ran last year. I believe they got a new coordinator on that side of the ball, so we're really only having one game to go off of with their defense. But I just think they've got good size up front, and their skill guys, their linebackers, and their DBs all run very well. They were in that game. You look at the score of that game, and you think Prairie View dominated the game, but when you watch it on tape, that certainly wasn't the case.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Other questions for Coach Fritz at Sam Houston? Coach, Flanders, Walter Payton Award candidate, and obviously his exploits over the last few years are very well documented. But talk about what it means for him to move atop the career touchdowns list in the conference and have an opportunity to become the Southland's leading rusher of all time.
Well, there's been a lot of great players that have played in this league over the years, and I think certainly Timothy's one of them. And he just is a great ambassador, I think, for our team. I know that. I think for our conference, he's already graduated. He's working on his master's degree. He's about a 3.3 GPA. He's extremely humble and great player. Just an overall great player. He can catch the ball. He can run in between the tackles outside. Blocks, does whatever we ask him to do, and I thought he played really well Saturday. He ran where the holes were at all times, and and showed some tremendous speed. I don't know what the guy runs in a 40, but he ran away from some guys on a couple of different plays on Saturday. But looking forward to him, finishing up his college career in great fashion here at Sam Houston.
Other questions for Coach Fritz? All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Coach Harper, are you with us?
I'm here.
All right, joined now by J.C. Harper, the head coach at Stephen F. Austin. Last week, the Lumberjacks lost at Texas Tech 61-13, and then this week play at home against McMurray. That's the home opener Saturday at 6 p.m. Coach, talk a little bit, if you would, about that game in Lubbock and then what you're expecting from McMurray.
Okay. I had a tough game Saturday night. It's one of the better teams in the country. Very explosive offense. Really great freshman quarterback in Baker Mayfield. Everything we thought he was coming out of high school. Played tremendously. He's a heck of a competitor. Really fun to watch him play, the way he performed Saturday night. They also have an inside receiver that has got to be one of the best receivers in the country, and Jace he catches for 142 yards. He was kind of out of our league, and those guys were pretty dominant as well as their running backs, and their defense just really swarmed and played tremendously hard and made it very hard for us. But I think some of the bright spots of the night, obviously Michael Brooks for his second time back-to-back over 100 yards in receptions, only on six catches. And then I thought Brady Attaway played a solid performance. in the night against a pretty stiff competition, but he managed everything well and played pretty well. And then probably the biggest highlight back-to-back weeks has been our punter, Nick Bruno, who had 9 kicks, 9 punts, 436 yards, an average of 48.4. And then back-to-back weeks, nailed it inside the 20 4 times last week as well. And so it was a tough night, one that. But I thought our players played tremendously hard. I thought they gave great effort, and we're excited beyond belief to be back at home. We got our first home opener in the 3rd week of the year, and we're excited about the team we're playing. McMurray is going to bring a heck of a challenge to us. The quarterback Brady Lambert last week I thought played really well. He's 22 of 35 for 187 yards. Played in 10 games last year, and he's a really good quarterback that you can tell fits well into what they do. And their running back is really impressive. He rushed for 137 yards last week against Abilene Christian. And their defense is really multiple, and it gives a lot of problems because of what they do defensively with their just the different fronts and coverages and stuff that they get into and running around. So it's going to be another big challenge for us, but one that I know being at home for us in the last year, we didn't lose a game at home. We won every game at home, and obviously if you're going to have any type of chance of winning a championship, you got to take care of home. So we're definitely excited to be back at home with Bryce at 6 o'clock on Saturday night.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions now for J.C. Harper, the head coach at Stephen F. Boston.
Hey, Coach, this is Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
I don't think y'all have had 3 straight home games in a long time. I know you just talked about how important it is at home, but y'all got the new turf, and y'all traveled to Utah and then to Lubbock, so y'all put in a lot of miles. But this is kind of the chance to kind of regroup and get some things accomplished at home and kind of set the stage for the rest of the season.
I just go game by game, Kevin. I mean, I thought we had a lot of improvement from week 1 to week 2 based on what I saw on film. I know the score might not indicate that, but there were definite victories or wins, within that game that, when you have a team, not everybody always plays well. And so no matter if it's this weekend on Sunday, we talked about the things we did well and hope to continue those, and we want to address the things we didn't do well and try to improve on those things. And we try to accomplish that on Sunday. And then, so this week we're going to go out and we're going to do everything we can to get better. And then on Sunday after the McMurray game, depending upon, whether it doesn't matter whether we win or whether we lose, there's going to be positive things, there's going to be negative things as far as things that we got to get better. And that's my approach each and every weekend.
Okay. Can you talk about Brooks? I'm getting this whole story together on him. He's kind of like his brother. He came here as a quarterback, history of quarterback, and turned into a wide receiver. And just talk about how he's matured and grown within the program and become a valuable player, wide receiver for you.
Yeah, I don't know if we did not recruit him. And so I don't know what he played in high school. I'm not sure if he was a quarterback or not. He here on a track scholarship. And he had whatever the certain amount of money that the track scholarship gives you. And his brother wanted him to play football and felt like he could play football here. And so he talked to me about him coming on and walking on. And his thing, Dwayne's thing was to me was as if he comes on, he walks on, he proves himself. Will he get more scholarship in football than track? And obviously, that was the case. And so it didn't take him very long to prove that he was worthy of a scholarship and walked on and earned it. And ever since then, he's just been, chopping away at getting better every day and, becoming the best that he is. And he's a heck of a competitor. And that's what makes him special. and obviously he's fast, but I think the biggest thing is he's really competitive. One of our strongest guys in the weight room, and so he works, at that as well, and so that's what makes him pretty special.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Coach Harper? All right, Coach. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. All right. That will conclude today's call. We have put the weekly Southland Conference release online at southland.org. You can find it there. It was also emailed just prior to today's call. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out here in the conference office. And we'll talk with everyone again next Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. Central Time. Thank you.